you have to kill the children before you kill yourself.
Doctor, is there any significance to the fact that this voice is telling her to kill the children, but not telling her how to kill the children?
Yes.
And what is that?
Just like adults, children have a will to survive, strong will to survive. I think it's just part of being human. And so I know that Dr. Resnick described Ms. Clancy as acting as if she were a puppet. But the children are not puppets. And just in looking at the Cape Codder video where Ms. Clancy is holding Callan and Dawson and Cora are there, I mean, they both are active. They can walk, they can run. And so to make the determination about
I'm going to object to this.
All right, can I see counsel at sidebar?
Was able to go through these records that anything that was deleted had anything to do with the homicide of Jared Briding. Next. Oh, she talked about the search of John Biggerstaff, the thumbnail that she says that she doesn't know whether he clicked on or not. And it wasn't even the right firearm. It was the 9mm as well, and all the other searches that John Biggerstaff either looked at or had thumbnails of. And you heard from Mr. Ostertag. He's a JSO detective. He was in the digital forensic, and the big theme that they had with him was Mr. Fernandez, he wiped his phone. So all those months later, where they never collected his phone, and when they did, he was cooperative, he turned it over. They wanted you to believe there was some evidentiary value that he wiped his phone until we got up on cross-examination. You saw scrambling over there. I went over to Miss Day. I said, get me the date that they say his phone was wiped. I bet you there's a T-Mobile purchase. Sure enough, T-Mobile, he got a new phone. That's what happened. Everyone wipes their phone when they get a new phone. They keep saying different things. He got a new phone and he wiped his old phone. That's what happened. The IME numbers are totally different. And that was the evidence in this case. This is the gentleman from ATF who said that he believed it was a Glock. I'm sure it was. He believed it was a 10mm. I'm sure it was. He seemed to know what he was doing. Can't connect it to this case at all. Doesn't even know if it was a Generation 44. They make 3 different models. Can't say what model it was. Tens of thousands of 10mm Glocks in circulation since 1991. That's what he was able to tell you. Next. Then you heard from Mr. Barton. And even the government said there's got to be truth in there somewhere. Who cares what the truth is with these 3 guys? The truth is, Fred Barton says the guns were dropped off and it was in a gun cabinet. Juan Biggerstaff says the guns were all dropped off in gun cases and appropriate gun boxes. John Biggerstaff says, I was a convicted felon, couldn't be anywhere near them, had to get rid of them. Who told you anything that any of those stories had anything to do with Mr. Fernandez. This is the part of the trial, folks, where you're waiting for the shoe to drop and you're like, all right, someone's going to take the stand. They're going to be offered immunity, which means they can't be prosecuted. They can tell you the truth. And they're going to put their chin to their chest and they're going to say, I didn't know it was going to be used for that purpose. I regret what I did, but I did give somebody a firearm, or whatever the case may be in every murder trial where they attempt or they can establish a connection between whatever evidence they put on for days at a time and the defendant. They didn't do that in this case. John Biggerstaff, first question I asked him, you heard Mr. Mizrahi asked you all these questions about your guns. Where are they? But he didn't ask him the one question, did you give Mr. Fernandez a 10 Miller firearm? No, I didn't. I haven't seen those guns since 2016. I asked him every which way. I even tried to trip him up. I'd ask him fast, I'd ask him slow. I'd ask him one time, then I'd ask him another time, and I'd ask him a different way. I'll let your memories reflect how many times I asked John Biggerstaff and how many different ways I asked him whether he helped Mr. Fernandez participate in this murder. His
After the evidence closes, I have to meet with the attorneys and go over some of the instructions. So it's probably, and you've all seen how good I am in my predictions about the schedule, but it's probable that we will be doing closing arguments, not tomorrow, but the day after. All right. So the anticipation is the evidence will wrap up, finish tomorrow, and then we'll start arguments and charge the next day with deliberations that day. All right. So I just kind of want to give you as much heads up as I can. This is one, well, I don't even want to go where I think about this prediction, but I think it's a good one. So I just kind of wanted to give you some idea of where we are in regards to this. So I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow morning. You've heard a lot of evidence, but you haven't heard all of it. All right. And like I've said before, you haven't heard the closing arguments of the attorneys. You haven't heard the law that you're going to have to apply to this. So you still have to keep an open mind. You still have to follow those instructions. Don't read anything about this. Don't listen to anything about this. Don't watch anything about this. And don't talk about it with anyone. You've been so good at following those instructions for all these weeks. I'm just going to ask you to kind of hang with those instructions a little bit longer. And so with that, I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow morning. We will continue with the witness who's on the stand. And like I said, I anticipate that we will the close of evidence will be tomorrow. Okay. So with all my thanks, as I've done it all the time, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay.
Court, all right. Please.
helped him bring tables and chairs to his wedding, confirmed by Juan Biggerstaff. That's what you learned from Juan Biggerstaff as to why Mr. Fernandez may have seen these people, Juan and John Biggerstaff, around the time of the homicide, because he got married at the time of the homicide. And you don't have to take these guys' word for it because they think they're liars. I asked Detective Johns, did you find receipts from the tables and chair place? He's like, yes, they picked up tables and chairs. The cellular data confirmed that Mr. Fernandez was with John Biggerstaff at the tables and chairs storage place and a delivery was made. This isn't like some made up story. That's what the evidence is. But they don't tell you that. They tell you, well, it's suspicious the night before the homicide he was with John Biggerstaff. When they know the evidence is he was helping him set up for a wedding. It's not suspicious they'd have communications. And the school teacher didn't provide a ton of evidentiary value, with the exception of, she said there was some theme that this was some kind of fake marriage, that from 2018 until 2022, Mr. Fernandez was some kind of contract marriage with Shanna Gardner. But he knows all the kids' medications. He does pickups and drop-offs. He goes to all the school projects and school performances. The school knows him. He was the first person with Miss Shanna Gardner to introduce themselves to the head of school. That's the purpose. That's ludicrous. that they somehow hired Mr. Fernandez and then 4 years later to do a contract killing, and he just integrates himself into the family and the schools and the communities. And that's why we called the teachers. That's why we called Ms. Orpitsberger, who also, by the way, said 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, the community would report suspicious activity. And they want you to believe there was all this suspicious activity with a truck and Mr. Fernandez running back and forth, if you want to believe that theory. Next. Then you heard from Detective Chris Johns, who went through the financials, and you heard Mrs. Stifler in her opening statement, and this could not be more important, and she looked at all of you. I saw many of you write it down. It will be in your notes because I watched you, because when I heard the words come out of her mouth, I can tell you I know this case pretty good. I know the evidence in this case. I know the records. And when I heard the words come out of her mouth, I almost fell out of my chair. You heard what she said. There is, wait.
Your Honor.
Okay, hold on, pause. Let me pause it. Let me see. Mr. Dreiser, the jury needs a break. Okay, right? Y'all need a break? We'll take the break. Leave your notepads. All right, court's in recess until the jury buzzes.